Kelly Ripa has been a mainstay in daytime television for decades now. Viewers around the world have spent years beginning their day with the bubbly blonde. While also an actor and author, Ripa is best known for her long-running talk show that she co-hosts alongside her husband Mark Consuelos. She has established herself as a likable personality and devoted mother who wears a number of pretty dresses and stylish outfits on her morning show. But on occasion, Ripa has pushed the envelope by wearing questionable pieces that shone off a lot of skin and looked far too sexy for daytime TV. Regularly, Ripa is seen wearing bright colors, sunny patterns, and a number of accessories. Even in her mid-50s, she prioritizes wearing dresses that show off her figure. After all, it's no secret that Ripa is a fan of fitness and likes to remain in shape. Her experimental fashion side has shown itself at times where she seems to be less inclined to dress traditionally. Especially in recent years, she has relied on more sexy lace garments than ever before and doesn't mind baring her body in outfits that show it off to the best of their ability. However, her foray into more edgy clothing options has been questionable, to say the least. Take a look at some of the outfits Ripa has worn that have us looking back with side-eye. In 1999, Kelly Ripa went to the Daytime Emmys in an outfit as shiny as the award itself, and all of her assets were on display. Her chest dripped in bling as the low neckline and spaghetti straps exposed Ripa's full clavicle. The skin-tight sparkling gown hugged all of Ripa's curves to the point where the dress itself could have been mistaken for undergarments that were meant to be covered with another layer. With nude color scheme, the skirt of the dress was completely sheer and showed her raw legs. When her former soap opera co-star Finola Hughes hosted a launch party for the release of her novel in 2005, Kelly Ripa chose to wear a party dress that was reminiscent of a negligee. It felt overtly sexy while at the same time being one of the most outdated outfits Kelly Ripa has ever worn. The top looks like it belongs in the bedroom, while the skirt could be worn by a flapper at a Great Gatsby-themed party. The low V-neck line and mesh were a bad choice, even for 2000s fashion. When Live with Regis and Kelly took the show on the road in 2009, hosts were transported to sunny Miami, Florida. In the hot weather, all eyes were on Kelly Ripa and her scantily clad leg reveal. Ripa wore mini dresses throughout the week, which showed off her long, luscious legs and fresh tan. It was hard to focus on the show's guests with Ripa's gams on full display, so much so that she was often seen covering the area just below her skirt hem to look more modest. The prestige that comes with attending the Academy Awards calls for high style, but also refinement, while the Vanity Fair Oscar party is more creatively formal. Still, Kelly Ripa's 2017 menswear look revealed far too much with a nude-colored bustier. It almost looked as if Ripa was not wearing any top at all and covered her midriff with tattoos. This outfit would have been a much better fit for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame than any red carpet associated with the Oscars. Stars at the Oscars are always dressed to the nines for Hollywood's biggest night. Kelly Ripa decided to combine sexiness with old Hollywood glamour when she opted for a black lace gown that hugged her body in 2024, which happened to be when the sheer trend got an ethereal upgrade. A majestic train followed behind her, but as stunning as the dress was, the sheer lace fabric exposed Ripa's underwear. What should have been a solely tasteful fashion moment was cheapened and sensationalized. The beauty of the dress was overlooked in favor of its seductiveness, which shouldn't have been the focus. Daytime regular Kelly Ripa made a revealing switch when she dressed up to appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2025. Her outfit was a complete departure from the dresses and business casual two-piece ensembles she favors on her morning show. Ripa wore a revealing black lace bustier that cut all the way down to her navel. She styled a corset top for the occasion with a black suit jacket, black trousers, and crimped hair. But the outfit showed too much skin for a talk show appearance, making it seem tacky and tasteless. Kelly had always understood the peculiar arithmetic of daytime television. A smile could add 10 ratings points, a laugh could multiply a morning into an appointment to watch Ritual, and an outfit could divide opinion down the middle. For decades, the bubbly blonde who bounded into living rooms at 8 in the morning had been a fixture people set their coffee beside, part personality, part ritual, part fashion column that walked, talked, and made small talk about the weekend plans. She was to millions an early morning constant, dependable hair, practiced banter, and dresses that somehow made the hardest headline feel like a neighborhood chat. But like any long-running show, the story wasn't only told in segments and interviews. It was written in wardrobe changes, in the tiny rebellions of hemlines and necklines, in the way someone who had built a career on approachability allowed themselves to be more complicated than anyone expected. This is a story about that complication, about a woman who learned to balance affection and attention, warmth and spectacle, and the slow public education of what it means to be seen. When she first stepped in front of studio lights, she looked like every other young host trying to sound like she'd been doing this forever. She would laugh, tilt her head, make a joke about not remembering the guest's name until the guest saved the bit. It felt safe. It worked. Over the years, the safety line loosened. The dresses grew more adventurous. The wardrobe department, sensing an audience ready for a friendly shock, pushed new silhouettes, bolder colors, and fabrics that caught the light like gossip. People loved that she wore bright colors. They loved the sunny patterns and the little accessories that became signatures, pendant necklaces that bobbed when she laughed, belts that punctuated a joke with an exclamation mark. In the mornings, she was like a human mood lamp, optimistic hues, controlled sparkle. The world outside the studio could be raw and unedited, but inside her segments the decorum. Calibrated, polished hair, measured jokes, looks that signaled competence and comfort. Even in her mid-50s, she prioritized figure-hugging dresses. Fitness was not a secret. It mattered. But fashion, she discovered, could be another kind of exercise, one in risk and in narrative. The public's appetite for edgy and daytime appropriate is the kind of unsolvable equation stylists wrestled with nightly. At the Daytime Emmys in 1999, she arrived in a gown that glimmered like the statuette itself. Cameras loved it. So did the tabloids. The gown shimmered with sequins and straps that settled at the shoulders like punctuation. It was a dress that read, at first glance, like glamour. At second glance, it invited a fuss. Low-cut, skin-clinging, and styled with a nude-toned column skirt that flirted with transparency. For some, it was a masterclass in dressing for the camera. For others, it was a moment that blurred the line between evening wear and an intimate costume. Either way, it stayed in people's minds, the way certain images do, because they are both a surprise and a confirmation. Here was someone who'd always been friendly and fun, choosing in that moment to be something else. Time slid on. Soap opera reunions, charity parties, academy soirees. The same woman attended them all, sometimes in the expected host-in dress, sometimes in an outfit that made people sit up and whisper. A novel launch in 2005, thrown by an old co-star and friend, found her stepping out in a number that looked like it had been borrowed from the boudoir and given a sequin-blessed night out. The dress sagged between eras, the top borrowed from an intimate past, the skirt from a bygone jazz age, and it read like a fashion joke that didn't quite land. She wore it anyway, and that was part of what people claimed to love. She was willing to kid around with how she presented herself, even when the joke's edge made onlookers uncomfortable. There was a particular week in 2009 when the show took them on the road to Miami. Beach light and humidity have a way of loosening everything. Words, hair, hems. Many dresses appeared in the wardrobe like a sudden, unanimous vote. Audience members who tuned in for an interview about travel tips found themselves distracted, not by the guest's insights, but by the casual, confident leg reveal happening on the sofa. People joked she covered herself to be modest. Others declared it an admirable insistence on owning her style. The truth lay somewhere in between. She knew the cameras, she understood eyeballs, and sometimes, because she was human, she liked the ease of something short, sunlit, and carefree. In the delicate architecture of a public life, there is always a moment that feels like a hinge, an evening when a host steps into a different room entirely, and the rest of the world tries to decide whether to follow. For her, one such hinge was a Vanity Fair party tied to Academy Awards chatter. Menswear-inspired tailoring thrown together with a bondage bent bustier that seemed, to some, to break the etiquette manual in half. It had the swagger of a performer who'd grown up on stage, and in scenes that allowed for deliberate provocation. It also had the vulnerability of someone aware she was under surveillance. Every choice would be read, misread,